Kia ora from Aotearoa. Good afternoon, and welcome to Guardians of Gaia Full Moon Easter Gathering. During this powerful passage and portal of birthing the new. And this is a place in cyberspace where guardians gather from all around the globe on new and full moons to share what's moving through our bodies, through the planetary bodies, and what's unfolding in this evolutionary journey on our planet for humanity at this time. Personally, planetary, solar, galactic, and universally. So it's multidimensional and has a direct impact on our physicality and how we're walking in the world. And we have a beautiful collaboration today from all continents, really. We've going to start off with Casey's introduction from here in Aotearoa. She happens to be down the bottom of Tiwai Panamu, the South Island of Aotearoa, with Claudia today. Then we're going to go to Chanel, who is recently landed in Dubai in the Middle East. And there's some very interesting intel coming through from that area of our planet and the ancient keys and codes with the new earth architecture that's emerging through there. Then down to South Africa with Surette for opening of the cosmic heart, before returning to Aotearoa, and Jacob has a beautiful new earth source code to share with us. Then we'll take a pause and open for any other contributions and questions to the field before Stephanie Elaine's closing set of fractals. So on that note, I would love to hand you over to Casey and look forward to this journey with you all today.
Thank you everyone for showing up in circle today. We're going to connect our fields a little bit. So anchoring into our body systems, anchoring into our light body systems, allowing us to fully show up and be present. Opening up our channels and connecting to one another. Opening up the light codons that we carry, allowing them to interface with one another through the multidimensional space that we step into together. Opening up to the greater fields, both down through Gaia's core, intergalactically, and up through our column of light, connecting directly to source and into the source fields, opening up those records, allowing them to come forward and be part of the circle today. Welcoming into the field our light teams, our star families, the star mappings that wish to come forward in our awareness. Allowing the dragon races to show up, our whale tribes, surrounding us with light at this time, and stepping further into the field of connection through the plasmic portals of our bodies, through the plasmic portals of the oceans and the cosmic oceans. We are opening the book of remembrance at this time, stepping further into realignment, reconfiguration, allowing the unwinding of the old to begin to process out of the system and stepping into a higher calibration at this time. There is an understanding that there is information regarding the plate systems as we step into the shift that we are cosmically aligned with right now. As the earth changes begin to take place, the locking and unlocking systems are going through a transformation. And the codex required for accessing these plates is being synthesized at this time. Alchemized, changed, reconfigured. Depending on the star races that are choosing to support, depending on the codex that each one of us carries. The interweaving of the plate systems is beginning to shift. Please have this in your awareness as you step forward into your next chapters. And the next chapters for Gaia begins to unfold before you. There is a weaving that is taking place on the earth plane, a reconfiguration of the tribal codes that we each carry as humans on the earth plane. The DNA Codex is shifting by itself with help from our cosmic brothers and sisters, with help from our solar access portals, sun systems, allowing the human to shift at this time. This is all taking place under the bigger picture of the cosmic mapping that is coming into alignment at this time also. Please be aware that your sky, star systems, is under reconfiguration. That the sky you see tonight might not be the same as the one that comes forward, bringing in a higher consciousness field and allowing others to step into their place as they are being called forward. With grace and allowance, we allow all of this to come forward at this time. We wish for the journey to continue among the bigger circle. Please hold this field of awareness, of expansion, of this interweaving of information. As we step back into circle and allow others to come forward to share what is in their systems, what is in their heart fields at this time. When you're ready, opening your eyes and choosing to come all the way in.
Thank you, Casey. Feeling the significance of the tectonic plates through your transmission today and our journey today. And let us hand over to Stephanie, Elaine, for her first set of fractals. Thank you, Stephanie, Elaine. And over to Chanel in Dubai.
Good morning, everybody from Dubai. I got here last Saturday, and I'm here until Sunday for the week. And it's been a lot of information that's been flooding through about what is actually happening underneath the surface within Gaia's architecture that's been coming through. But just to share some of the actual experience that's been happening in the physical, it's been a very, very interesting couple of days and landing in here. I lived in Dubai for 12 years before I moved back home to South Africa. And so coming back now and experiencing the sharp contrast of a Dubai that I knew 3, 4 years ago to arriving now in the Dubai that is currently alive within the physical has been quite an interesting contrast. There is a lot of polarity that's being held here right now. Um, Essentially, it is a war zone. The UAE has been targeted the most out of any of the Middle Eastern countries, and while all of the Middle Eastern countries have been affected, Dubai specifically and Abu Dhabi and the UAE as a country has been targeted the most. And it's been interesting landing here and experiencing the the missiles being shot and being intercepted, and you can hear it, you can see it, you can feel it. You've got warnings that go off at different times of the day. And despite this all going on, there's almost like this undercurrent of a normal life that's happening. So there's this very strange sort of polarity that's happening of understanding that you're in this kind of war zone and that this is happening and you see fragments of it, but then there's very much a normal life narrative that's going on, and people are going about their normal days. They're at the beach, they're going to the mall, and this has been such an interesting contrast to experience in the physical. And what's been coming through a lot with what's happening specifically here has been very interesting. So, Gaia herself is going through a huge recalibration with her solar plexus architecture and the architecture around that. And this has been undergoing for a couple of months now, but the intensity of it has been felt in the last couple of weeks with a huge recalibration that is happening within this part of her architecture. There are a lot of circuits that were disconnected before that are reconnecting and coming into a deeper coherence. And as that is happening, all of the old loops, patterns, programs, templates, code structures that relied on the incoherent structure is starting to dissolve, and it has been ongoing for quite some time, but we're reaching the intensity of it and feeling that now. And as this is happening with Gaia's wider architecture, all of us, all of humanity, we're also going through the same recalibration within our solar plexus architecture. And a lot of these overlays and templates that relied on the incoherent structure have to do with our relationship to power, and how we've been exploring those themes of power within our individual realities, but also within the collective realities. And there's also a lot of the old templates to do with our identity structures and the identity structures that relied on the core belief that we are separate from one another. And this is all going through a huge recalibration. And with the physical chakra located over Australia and this part of the architecture that is undergoing this huge recalibration, what's been really interesting is how this is now pertaining to what we're seeing happen here in the Middle East and specifically in Dubai. And what's come through is that Dubai and the UAE itself, and just looking at the context of this country. So Dubai as an actual location is less than 200 years old, which is when the first more modern people started to settle here. And before that, it was completely a Bedouin culture. And this node point of Dubai is extremely, extremely important. And it is one of the most important connector nodes within Gaia's architecture, holding and disseminating essentially the information and energy with Earth's true Earth architecture. And as the true Earth architecture has started to stabilize over the last hundreds of years, we've seen the UAE form as a city. And the UAE as a country is less than 60 years old. So it's really quite new, and it's quite interesting to observe what's been happening, because as this architecture has been stabilizing, the UAE itself has been coming back online, and this node point that has been running dormant for the past hundreds of years has essentially acted as a free flow gateway of incoherent information and just old structures to be essentially free flowing throughout the wider architecture. And what's happening now is Dubai is physically formed as a city and as a country. This node point has started to come more and more online. And it's interesting seeing how it's behaving in the physical, because Dubai itself has attracted, it's a melting pot of different cultures, different nationalities, people coming from all across the world, and in doing so attracting people with various keys and codes. And the last, less than 100 years, the focus has been on essentially bringing this node point back online through the various keys and codes that people hold, with everybody that's been flocking here. And as this node point has been coming more online, it has been reconnecting the flow of information from the wider architecture, and specifically the architecture and information that is held within the solar plexus of Gaia. And a lot of this has been running this incoherent information in these old templates and loops. And what we've seen with Dubai up until this point is a lot of the old coding structures and templates to do with power specifically, and that being the physical representation of the Dubai and the UAE as we know it now, which is very much this misuse of power, very material focused, very, sort of separate mentality. And now what's happening and what's come through is that this node point specifically is going to be an extremely important node point for the true Earth architecture. And as the solar plexus architecture is stabilizing now across Australia, this node point needs to come back into coherence. And Dubai itself is going to be an extremely important city of the future, in terms of the holding and the manifestation of these original codes to do with our understanding of power and the right use of power. And so this is what's happening right now. And there's a huge, huge clearing that is happening within this node point. And it's very interesting because the UAE has been targeted the most. And what's come through is everything that is happening here is acting as this accelerated clearing process of all of these old incoherent structures, these old templates specifically to do with identity and power. A lot of fear-based programs are being plucked and pulled out of this architecture and transmuted. And this is how this is happening through this war that is ongoing. And it's interesting because everybody that is stationed here essentially is acting like these antenna points, and anytime these missiles are happening and you're experiencing it in your reality, everyone here is safe. The reality is nothing has actually landed, nothing has hit. So everyone here is quite safe, which has helped people to actually stay. So there's a large population that is actually staying in Dubai. And what's happening as these missiles and as these activities are happening in the sky, it's essentially acting like a hook, like a pluck point, and pulling out all of these fear-based structures, all of these old templates and programs and patterns to do with these fear-based programs that have led us to essentially create a world based on these templates. And everybody that is here are these antennas. And so there's all this fear that is now being transmuted through the physical bodies of everybody that is here. And a lot of these programs are also linked, and what's come through is a lot of these fear-based programs, and they are the fear-based programs of our original wound, which is this wound of separation. And in the process of us clearing this, we're also clearing a lot of the Atlantean timelines and the Atlantean templates and programs and patterns and loops that have existed to do with the fall of Atlantis and the misuse of power. This is also what's been plucked and pulled out through the wider architecture at this time, and it's happening through this unrest that is happening in the Middle East, and specifically as Dubai as the node point. because this node point needs to come back into coherence and essentially match the recalibration that is happening within Gaia's architecture around her solar plexus, so that the coherent templates and coding structures and information that is now starting to stabilize within this part of her architecture to do with power and identity can actually start to flow through to other parts of Gaia's architecture and other parts of our physical reality. And Dubai itself is acting as this dissemination point. It is a hub, exactly like how it is a hub for travel with so many different flights and people coming through and passing through this node point. It is operating exactly the same at an energetic level. And up until this point, it's been disseminating a lot of fragmented information. And we've seen this play out in how Dubai has functioned as a city up until this point. So what we're seeing, despite the unrest, is actually incredibly intelligent and phenomenal. And as this node point starts to stabilize, we're going to start to see this coherent flow of information of the original codes of creation, specifically to do with the solar plexus, start to be disseminated to wider parts of Gaia. And as this solar plexus structure stabilizes and the flow of information is coherent enough to reach other parts of the architecture and all the other countries and cities that are situated therein, this is required because us as humans and as our solar plexus are calibrating at the same rate, and we're being asked to clear all of these templates and coding structures within ourselves as well. There's going to be a huge mutation or change or upgrade in our solar plexus functioning that is taking place at some point in the future, potentially next year. And this part of the architecture is needing to stabilize within Gaia and within ourselves so that we can hold that mutation that is going to take place next year. And that mutation is essentially going to completely change the way that we see ourselves and almost pluck us out of these victimization templates and programs that we've been operating within up until this point. And in order for that to happen, this recalibration is needing to happen first so that it can stabilize, so that we can hold the influx of information and high frequency and that mutation that is essentially going to be taking place at some point in the future, potentially next year. And this is what we are in the thick of, is the clearing of this and really the restoration of this node point, which is going to be an extremely important node point within the True Earth architecture. And Dubai itself is going to be an important city of the future, whatever that means and whatever that's going to look like.
Thank you very much, Chanel. Thank you for being in Dubai now. Thank you for your transmission. And yeah, it doesn't feel like hundreds of years. It feels like about 36,000 years since that node was last online.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it's big. And
Mm.
yeah, thank you. And extraordinary polarity as fear gets unraveled.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Yeah.
shall we head down to South Africa and find out what the cosmic artist is going through in actualizing the new?
Thank you, Leanne. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this moment where all of us can just probably take a breath after the high-paced and high energy sharing that we just received. I can feel all of that energy moving through this collective field and just starting to settle. And also to remember that each one of us that is present here and is going to connect to this transmission have been prepared to be still in the presence of all of the seemingly chaotic energies and streams of information that is flowing through the collective consciousness. And what I find so beautiful is I'm going to just hop back once or twice and then I'll stay in the present moment, because I think it's important just to bring the weaving into the present moment. And that is that about a week ago, without me planning to do so, I ended up being in a shopping center. And I want you to hear the words shopping center. A center, a place where collective consciousness is present in the form of human bodies, all there busy feeding off the energy of each other, shopping into perhaps addictions, perhaps soothing, many, many reasons, and every soul knowing they need to be there, some of them conscious, others very unconscious. And what I was aware of is that it was the first time in this lifetime that I was present in such a huge collective field where it was absolute chaos around me. It is different sounds that is just streaming out of each shop, influencing the very architecture of that small environment and impacting the bigger centrum. And every shop blurting their own sound resonance frequencies out to attract energy. And the collective shopping center as a whole, there's this sound music playing there as well. And so why I'm sharing that is it was for the first time that I was completely still, completely aware, completely present, and completely expanded into my wholeness and my fullness, aware of all of this energy, and to become aware of how energy is siphoned from in the collective. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I became aware that just, for example, just as Dubai is a very important node, I used to stay in Johannesburg. And during this last week, my awareness just went to the 4 main shopping centers in Johannesburg is actually called East Rand Mall, North, West, and South. So there's actually 4 directional centers that is controlling the energy in Johannesburg. And I just got goosebumps when I said that. Those places are literally used for the siphoning of energy and the control of different structures, from economy to there's just so many, and specifically individual and family interaction. So just bringing awareness to the reason for shopping centers being there and what that really means and how energy is siphoned through that. And the same is true for our medical system, where I've also have insight into how underneath all different clinics and hospitals, there's also energy centers that is siphoning. So the shopping centers siphons from above, and in hospitals, the energies are siphoned from below. And important to just become aware of that. So it happens in 2 directions. What I also been made aware of during this last week specifically is my reason, firstly, for being in Johannesburg. So that is the place where I, as a soul, has chose to incarnate to in this lifetime. And just for a moment, become aware of where you have incarnated when you came in as a soul, and the importance of remembering that all that you've been through in that environment has prepared you for this very ascension of the collective consciousness as the cosmic heart is starting to open. As not only have we been calibrating all those places and spaces where we birthed into up until this moment, but how now through our more expanded, connected consciousness is also directly impacting and influencing the flows of all those places that you've walked since you've incarnated in this body. So all of that is connected. And each one of us, through each one of our paths and connections that we've made, all those places and spaces and all the communities around that is now receiving that which we are starting to emit out. So that's a sharing, the first part of the context I'm briefly just creating. That whole physical lifetime, I chose to be very asleep as I moved through it, so that my soul don't become too present, or else I wasn't seeing everything that needed to be seen on all different levels of communal living, so to speak. Together with that, there was also I was in a relationship where I just saw someone entering. I was not only in a relationship and a partnership, but also in a binded relationship with my husband. And he was very much asleep, very much so, as was I, but I started to awaken, he didn't. And why I'm sharing that is the importance of the gender we've chosen to incarnate into. So the opposite direction, gender, if I can use that language just for a moment, is also the holder of many keys and codes to be reflected to us. And what I've been through that whole journey is to be a witness, first unconsciously, and the more awake, aware, ascended, and embodied I became through that whole journey, I not only witnessed, but I became a sovereign witness of the impact of not only energy being siphoned, but the impact that has on relationships, partnership, and family dynamics, and all other relationships formed, and all aspects of one's life, from economically to relationally, and everything in between, and how we serve. And as my husband passed away and I saw him in his ascended state within a second, like that, in his most expanded cosmic nature and presence, we started also working together, if I can use that words, where I was shown how then the wounding that has occurred is held in place in the physical through gender structures and the masculine. So although there was a huge wave of energies focusing on the divine feminine, the goddess, and in all that phases of awareness that was there in the spiritual community, there was a lot of awareness on women. And what I was made aware of that was also part of distracting, because a lot was actually occurring within the male gender. And what male also, as we know, represent is structure from an energetic perspective. And therefore, the structural siphoning that has occurred and the structural impact of it on the male gender was made known to me, and I became a sovereign witness to that whole process. After my husband passed away, he showed all those different phases of impact that had. So why I'm sharing that once again is I was made aware of it this last week, to just quickly revisit and to see how all of that has unfolded, And simultaneously, there was also the presence of again, a masculine gender in my field and awareness, very much already ascended and expanded and connected to his higher consciousness, both in masculine and feminine energy. However, the difference was I needed to become aware of the unaware, unawake, completely aware, completely awake spectrum of in the masculine gender. And what I was shown there is very different. What was made known there is that, and therefore reflected to me, and therefore the importance of being a sovereign witness to that, and why I'm bringing that in is for all of us to just become aware of that there is a lot of gender expressions, masculine in form, that is here twofold. Firstly, to bring to awareness from a feminine gender perspective that the very structure that was held in place is indeed what is crumbling, and all the identities and power related and connected to that, firstly, in physical and on a spiritual level, there is the same identity and power structures that is also crumbling, both of those not being connected to their true earth architecture and therefore connected to their source of all the energy, the true source of all of that. And what was reflected to me is the deep betrayal, the deep hurt, the deep experience of being attacked as a ascended spiritual being in physical form that is going through such levels of hurt, pain, fear, because they started to belong to communities, spiritual communities, where siphoning was also occurring. So come into awareness that the siphoning that is occurring from a energetic, therefore power and identity structures that is currently crumbling is both physically and spiritually. And those two are alchemizing. And the awareness is around, as the collective consciousness is starting to awake to their true nature and architecture, there's going to be this accelerated remembrance that they are cosmic beings of light, and in doing so, wanting to belong to communities. And there is a possibility, as they start looking to belong to communities, that those communities, spiritual communities, are places that looks tempting, but is actually a place where spiritual energy is also siphoned on a higher level. And I'm just bringing that in to know that as that was witnessed, that whole spiritual structure is also dissolving together with the physical structures. And the importance of that is, as soon as I became witness to both of those, the unaware, unawake, unascended to aware, awake, ascended, masculine, gender physical expressions, and witnessed that both of those on the full spectrum has not only been a witness to that, but through doing so, the alchemy that happens in the center of that, when we start honoring and with deep compassion become witness to that which is going to occur in the collective, as there is a knowing that we are stepping into, and that is what has supported the opening of the cosmic heart, which I want to come to very quickly, because it feels like that is actually going to bring about a shift, is for all of us to remember that there is two things that has occurred: the structures on a physical level and the structures on the spiritual level that is not aligned and connected to the true source of all of creation, the original creator creatrix consciousness. And as we hold our awareness of both of those and stay in the center of our source, of our sovereignty, of our connectedness and connection and interconnectedness with all of who we are, that is where our power, our love, our wisdom, as the source of everything that is shifting, is in that very center, the true center, not all other centers that was used to siphon, both physically and spiritually. It just feels like there must be a breath for a moment to let all of that just settle and flow through. And the last bit of context before I want to step into a journey is that most of you are aware that since last equinox in September, there was many expansions that has occurred in the awakening of Gaia's true earth architecture and the recalibration, realignment, rebalancing, and reconnection to her original source sound and source codes and architecture. And one of the first steps was the cosmic womb being woven back into as the old earth womb, is what I'm hearing in the moment. As the old earth womb was being unwoven, the true earth cosmic womb was being woven into and came online. While that was occurring, there is a lot of shifts in energy that is started to happening from a collective consciousness perspective, to remember that each one of us, as the guardians and stewards of sovereignty, truth that we are, have all walked our paths. And all of that, all the different guardians and stewards and leaders that has been going through different stages and phases of awakening, ascension, and embodiment, all of those has prepared for that connection of the cosmic womb. I just want to be very clear on that. All of those paths has allowed for that to happen during this time in awakening of the collective consciousness. And as that cosmic womb continues to not only weave fully back into the fuller body, but also continuing to recalibrate, all of that is happening in simultaneity with all that is being dissolved, and all the structures that's crumbling and dissolving, and it's happening simultaneously, both of those. As the cosmic womb has came into full weaving into Gaia's body, so too has her whole body come into, what will the word be? Not only came alive, but came up, stood up, if that makes sense. And through that process, there's a whole reconfiguration that is happening with her whole physical body, which has continuously happened. And through that whole process, the place where that has occurred, up until where the place is where the cosmic womb was opened and woven back into her body, that whole place is known as the perineum. And since I'm going to physically show it, is what I'm guided to do, is so where this is the place where the cosmic womb was woven back into physical. And this is the place where the body has risen. That whole place in between is an area where the Earth star of Gaia is situated. And over periods, not only have that Earth star started coming into fuller alignment with the essence of Gaia's core and her connection to the cosmic body, but also all the energetic shifts that needed to happen on all levels of her body and all bodies of her being. So that whole perineum has started to not only weave into place, but strengthening in that as a stable foundation for all the different energy centers to start lining up, for the organic flow to occur through from the South Pole to the North Pole and through that whole crystalline core of her being. So this perineum's weaving consciously back into being started last December. It was actually on the 21st of December when the cosmic womb opened, and that has now completed. And my whole body just went into goosebumps as I said that. It completed this last week. And that full completion of that weaving back into her, into being, was as soon as there was a honoring and a witnessing from a very deep, compassionate place of what the physical structure of our human nature and our divine nature was not only witnessed and honored, but deeply felt and recognized as that which is occurring in the collective consciousness. As soon as I witnessed that and I felt the perineum's weaving was complete, during that period, there was also the cosmic codex that was brought in by first Sai, Wind, and I. We worked with the original elemental properties, and the cosmic codex just started to flow through, and then that started to recalibrate. And when Chanel and I were together, it was about 10 days ago or so, we stabilized that codex in Gaia's body. And after that has occurred, her whole spine has now completely aligned and started to reconnect all the different energy centers and nadis, the organic centers, and nodes of her body. And the last 3 days specifically, is when it started off the first day of the 3 days, which I can't now recall what day it is today, but those 3 days ago, it started where I was guided to go to a body of water close to me that I've been many times, that is in line with the two main meridians that flows up into Gaia's core, up in the African continent to the northern pole. That body of water is actually called the Moon Bay. And I knew that, but I was just made consciously aware that when I entered that place, become aware of the significance of the name Moon Bay. And I did so. And as I entered, I went into this absolute state of joy. when I just climbed out of the car, it was pure joy. And I felt this aliveness, but it was like a childlike innocence and playfulness that I felt in my being as I connected to the water there, to the gnosis of the significance of what this body of water is. And during that whole walk, I just wanted to go for a walk. I ended up being there about 5 hours. There's a lot of codes that has moved through Gaia's body, and all those original crystalline water codes started to come alive. And as it did, it also started to organically flow into Womb Bay. And that whole, I want to almost call it, just for this moment, the energy center of Moon Bay, that consciousness body of the connection not only to our physical moon, but all other moons, has been the organic connection, flow, and circulation has occurred up until the cosmic water bodies and all other waters in the cosmos through that Moon Bay. That then, after I left that, I also then went through the second day, so which now was not yesterday, the day before, this whole viewing of Gaia's body, and how that moon consciousness or cosmic water essence and the crystalline nature thereof started to coherently flow as we already started to connect those three energy points, the sun, earth, and moon energy centers in the perineum. So the moon codes and consciousness and organic energy circulation of the crystalline waters started to flow and circulate. The next day was the earth codes, and the day after that, which was yesterday, was the sun codes. And that sun codes, or those sun codes, has now also not only aligned, but the original organic circulation flow of our sun into the center of the Milky Way galaxy and the great central sun to the original light source. That whole organic flow has been restored. And as a trinitized presence, those three has started to, through each with their trinitized essence and presence, together also in their trinitized essence and presence, started to weave through the spine of Gaia. And it feels just like a moment of breathing for that to fully ground and flow through. And as that flow and the organic nature thereof, and the original organic nature thereof, started to flow and circulate through the spine, by yesterday afternoon, what I started to see is that how now that that perineum is, the weaving is completed and that trinitized flow has started, came into coherence with the cosmic codex, and is starting to connect to and come into coherence with the cosmic codex of each soul that's currently incarnated on the planet from a human perspective. And the very same is true from a animal, plant, mineral, crystal, and elemental perspective. And all of that is happening simultaneously as the organic flow of the original life-giving light energy has been reconnected, activated, initiated, and flowing. And as that continued to flow through, what I was shown is that in the southern hemisphere, Gaia's Earth star is back in its original position, and therefore all the light that's being received through her womb is now reflecting out true crystalline light through the root of the collective consciousness. Each one of us individually through our Earth stars, which is aligning and recalibrating to that organic flow. And simultaneously, the same is happening at the North Pole. And that soul star of Gaia has now come into full alignment with her Earth star and the flow that is occurring through the spine, through this cosmic codex. Now, as I said that, I just felt this last little tilt as that is in full alignment, flow, and organic circulation. And as that was happening, what I saw was that where consciously or not, energy was taken from, siphoned through the hijacked Earth and soul stars, all of that has been crumbling, dissolving, is happening now at an accelerated pace because of the original organic body of Gaia that is not only in remembrance reconnected back to the original cosmic codex of her being, but also it is ready, and enough energy has shifted for that to be so after all that all of us has been through, and all of us has not only standard in service of, but through our collaborative sharings is allowing for that to really stabilize in all the different places that we are. What I'm made aware of in the moment just is that we are in a triangulation there where you are in New Zealand, where we are in South Africa, and up in Dubai. That triangulation is playing a very important role in this moment of the sharing. Just want to bring that in. So as the energy of her Earth and soul stars has been, siphoned out, taken, hijacked, whatever the words are you want to use, that is not taking place cannot take place anymore. There's going to be a lot of, just old things that's still going to be experienced, but that cannot happen anymore because of the reconnection back to her original architecture, her true Earth architecture. And as I saw that, what I was shown is it is through the heart, because I literally saw at the bottom of not only the perineum and the cosmic womb, but that whole area up there where the heart, her essence, her core and her crystal heart is in the center. That energy is actually now flowing organically from there into the womb, and simultaneously also up into the crown. And that's the importance of being centered in our hearts to support Gaia in strengthening that sovereign magnetism of her core essence in the center of her crystal heart. And I was just guided that that is enough information that was shared, and that it would be my greatest honor now to step into a journey that that has moved through my being. It started moving through my being since the first time I consciously started to ascend into my true nature, and through my whole embodiment process. Already saw that the first time, but it feels like that is very much stabilized in the organic flow of that. And I was guided to share that. And important to give expression that we are all directly connected to the source of all of creation, that no one outside of us in their in any form of expression is the source of. There's only keys and codes to be received. I just want to be very clear about that. The only source is your own direct source connection and guidance of your heart. And why I'm saying that is, when I ask to close your eyes, you're welcome to leave your eyes open. What I just was made aware of as I entered into this place is to remember, as we are viewing a screen, that light that is coming from the screen is not organic. And therefore it impacts our eyes, and therefore influences what we receive. And having said that, please only take, as you know, that which resonates, that which is alignment, and that which you are guided to receive the different codes. As we are standing here simultaneously in our human expression and our most expanded cosmic experience and expression, and therefore all the different dimensional directions that we are connected to is all receiving whatever in this moment you were guided to receive, and for it to be so. And having said that, if you can ever so, and I'm going to keep my eyes closed so that I don't receive the reflections of the screen at the moment. So if you can ever so gently and gracefully, after all the information and codes that has just flowed through your ears and eyes and all other senses, allow yourself to move your awareness ever so gently and ever so gracefully to the center of the center of the center of your heart. And for a moment, allow yourself to feel into the center the liquid essence and just soften into this flow. This place and this space where only you and your connection to your true and only source of all light, love, and life is. Your relationship in relation to this source within the center of your physical body. And this inner landscape or soulscape, your internal safe place and space, where only you know what is true to your heart in physical expression and your connection to the source of all of creation, to your soul's essence. And to remember that your human expression and essence and your soul's essence and presence and the source of all of that essence and presence together in its trinitized presence and nature is one self, soul, source, synthesized as one. And as you stay here with this shift of your awareness to the center of your being, know that the center, this essence, is your seed, your sovereign seed. And that this essence is throughout your whole body. Become aware of this essence in your head, in your neck, shoulders, front of your heart, back of your heart, your belly, front, back, sides of your belly, your legs, down to your feet, all a liquid essence, simultaneously from head to toe to fingers, one liquid essence. And ever so naturally and organically move your awareness to the center of your heart, your crystal heart, the rosette of your being. And sense into your connectedness to know yourself, as soul, and source. Creator, creatrix, creation, all one liquid essence. And as you soften into this warmth and comfort of your essence and presence and being, this very moment, become aware of a light expanding simultaneously in all dimensional directions. And as it does, allow yourself to become aware of all that you are seeing, feeling, hearing in this moment. Feel the warmth. As your heart opens even more. And start feeling how this light starts to travel. And allow yourself to breathe into this place in space. And with a sound, just connect to that with a sound. Say, ah. And as that sound is expressed, your seed sound, Gaia's seed sound, the cosmic seed sound, that sound print, allowing for the light to move in all dimensional directions simultaneously, creating movement. This liquid essence, where all sounds, all colors, and all geometries in its liquid essence and presence in the seed of your being starts to move in all dimensional directions. And as it travels, become aware of rocks that is forming through this heat of this spark that was ignited through the sound of your being. Rocks starting to travel gracefully as your awareness stays simultaneously through the spaces around the rock, but also experience yourself as the rock. And as you continue to travel, notice other rocks also moving out. And your awareness of self in them, through them, as them, one with all. As you become witness to more rocks forming, flowing, drifting, being held in this field. And just connect with all the different textures that you feel here, their liquid nature and essence. As more and more of rocks forms, and as you continue to move your awareness through them, in them, as them, around them, become aware of all the different gases, fluids, and the nature of the elements that you are aware of as it continues to travel starting to come together. Hydrogen, nitrogen, all the different elemental properties, the very subatomic architecture of being. And as you continue to breathe through this, notice as you breathe how your awareness continue to move and travel as the light being that you are. And as you continue to travel, there's a place in space where you notice more rocks closer together and realize galaxies are forming all around you. And just connect to all of them simultaneously, all the different forms, expressions of all those different stars and celestial bodies. As you continue to travel through all of them, aware of the different temperatures, colors, substances, some liquid, some a little bit more dense in nature. All around you, everywhere, your full awareness moving through all of that. And as you continue to travel through this place in space, be very aware that you are still in oneness with our creator and creatrix of all of this, as you are continuing to experience creation as one trinitized place in space of being. And as you continue to move your awareness through, knowing yourself as all of this, continue to travel and notice this place where there is more stars than there where you came from, that you are noticing forming, growing, expanding. As you connect with it, to it, through it, as it. And as you continue to move through, become aware again of the liquid nature of your experience, plasma in its expression, oceanic in its nature, the very cosmology and cosmos of your crystalline chromosomes. And as you continue to move, notice how your awareness starts moving to this place that your soul exactly knows where to stop. And as you do, take a moment to look all around you simultaneously, in front of you, to your sides, and turn around in front of you, upwards, downwards. and feel how effortless it is to move around you. And as you hold your awareness here, start becoming aware of all the different crystals around you. Clear crystals that is starting to form as you stay here in the center of the crystal heart. And the liquid crystalline essence as the cosmic heart continues to open in your remembrance at your own pace. Look at all the different crystals, different shapes, sizes, but all clear in their expression. Connect with them, through them, to them, as them, in their crystalline nature. And as you move through them, and you move your awareness around, just see the plankton, the different particles that is here in these waters. And look at the coves. Sand. Just move your awareness to it, through it, as it, as you continue to connect to it all. And start noticing the sea grasses that is forming and coming into your awareness, one after the other. And then you start realizing there's many. As you connect to it, with it, as it, through it, move your awareness. Be the cove, be the crystal, be the sea grass. Feel it, experience it. And then bring into awareness small little organisms starting to form. Singular cellular structures. Connect to it, with it, through it, and as it. Let your consciousness move through it all as they start to multiply. And all other fishes starts to form and swim around as you continue to connect with them, to them, as them, through them. From the seed of the fish until it forms a body, and all the ages and stages that it goes through. To form its eyes, its body, and all the processes to breathe, to see, to swim, to navigate. As you continue to move your awareness through all other fishes, all sizes, different colors, schools starting to form and swim together. As you connect to the schools and energies of their movement, as you continue to breathe and observe the movement through all that is around you, ever so gently. All the particles, you as the particles. All the crystals, you as the crystals. All the fish and grass and other plants, you as that, through that. And as this continue to grow, fishes' sizes starts to increase, larger fish. So we start noticing whales, dolphins, and connect to them, through them, as them, with them, how they are forming through their different ages, stages, and phases of growth. And how they start to grow to colonies. And as you continue to expand your awareness, the awareness that all these elements and elemental properties, the very subatomic architecture of Gaia's body, over periods of times, epochs, and light years, it all evolved, expanded, and your conscious awareness of it being so. And as you continue to move your awareness through this water body and the plasmic nature thereof, and all the different animals and plants and crystals and minerals that is here effortlessly in this crystalline waters, in the movement through the breath of Gaia, allowing for these different streams as all animals and plants coherently interconnected, organically continue to grow. As your awareness starts moving through all these waters, allow yourself to move towards the land as that is starting to come into your awareness, the formation thereof, and plants starting to come into your awareness as you move through the roots of those plants, as the roots, through the roots, connect with the roots, and allow yourself to flow through the roots of the plants that is forming. And as it moves through the ground, feel yourself moving through the roots, through the ground, organically moving towards the light above the ground. And as those plants continue to grow and become more, continue to stay in the roots, your awareness through the stem, leaves that is forming, receiving the light and the grace of the breath of Gaia. As Gaia, as the plant, as the breath, as the water, as the air, as the plants starts to multiply and trees starts to form. As you connect to the tree, with the tree, through the tree, as the tree, simultaneously, the air, the ground, the light, the water, moving through the roots of the trees, the trunks, the branches, the leaves, starting to form fruit. Connect with the fruit, as the fruit, to the fruit. The seed forming, the fruit growing. Flowers forming. Connect with, to, through, and as the fruit, as the flowers, as the air, as the ground, as the water, and all the particles of water in the air that is moving around. Connect to it, through it, as it, with it. And as these plants flourish through the sustenance of its essence, through the nurturance of the light, and its connectedness with the whole. Notice how animals are starting to come into awareness. As a seed growing, becoming, breathing, perfect design, perfect expression. Connect to it, with it, through it, as it. Small animals, ants, larger animals starting to form. Allow yourself organic to flow through all that's coming into your awareness as you connect with it, to it, through it, and as it. Your consciousness moving through all of that. As animal starts to express, larger in size, all shapes, all colors, all textures, around it, through it, as it. The absolute perfection, how each one is forming and starting to connect with others. As each and every single animal that has ever walked on this earth plane, the consciousness of Gaia has moved through it. Your consciousness has moved through it. Remember, and as Gaia evolved, different epochs and different expressions, this crystalline essence and her true nature, creation expressed, creator, creation, creatrix, all as one, have always been in a trinitized essence, presence, and expression. And you've always been connected to that, with that, through that, and as that. And as Gaia has given expression to all of these crystals, minerals, plants, animals, and all the water bodies, all connected to the same crystalline essence and source of all light and life, continue to grow and evolve. And there, the first human to walk as an expression of all these elements and minerals and consciousness that it has moved through, that Gaia has given expression to, and her elemental nature, in her subatomic architecture, and all her original codes of creation has moved through all of creation as the Christed, Christic, crystalline essence and expression and child of creation, creator, creatrix, creation expressed as one, sovereign in nature, crystalline in essence, innocent, playful, all as one. And as you connect to this original expression of humanity, remember that every single expression of our human family are all connected to their soul, source, synthesis, experiencing themselves in human forms all across Gaia's body as the source of coming into form, into expression as a human, and the sovereignty of that. And as you remain in the awareness and essence of the core of your presence, your Christic, Christed, crystalline heart, for one moment, take your awareness to your feet, to your womb, to your hands, and to your head. And know, as a self-sourced sovereign being that you are, that your connectedness with your crystalline heart and essence and the full gnosis of that, of the original code of your being and your cosmic codex of your soul's expression and your true earth architecture is in alignment, in coherence, in balance, and in harmony with that of Gaia and with that of the cosmos as a whole. Your individual heart and all the hearts of humanity together Christic, crystalline, Christed in nature, is all connected to the heart of Gaia. Crystalline, Christic, Christed in nature and essence is connected to the heart of the cosmos. Christed, crystalline, and Christic in nature, in essence and expression. Our cosmic mother and our cosmic father, as one, has given birth to and given expression to a child, Gaia, Sophia, that has, since the moment of the creation of the cosmos, always been connected to the heart of the cosmos, and has traveled through all multiverses, universes, and galaxies, guided by the Milky Way galaxy as her soul star, grounded at the core of her essence as her earth star, fully aligned, fully connected, a place and a space where the cosmic heart, in its trinitized essence and presence and expression, through the heart of Gaia, Sophia, gave birth to and given expression to all that ever was and all that ever will be, ever now, simultaneously, eternally slow connected. Through the crystalline heart field of humanity, the one cosmic codex, crystalline heart, essence and expression, and all the paths that has ever been walked since the first time humanity has put foot on Gaia, has all been walked through all the ages and stages and phases, and through all epochs. And it is all been not only walked, but we all have been a sovereign witness to all of that. And through the gnosis that we've been, through the very subatomic architecture of our beings, connected to all of it, and always in co-creation in service of Gaia Sophia, here to be these pillars, emanations, guardian stewards of sovereignty of the crystalline essence as the cosmic heart, the heart of Gaia and the heart of humanity, all crystalline in nature and expression, all co-weaving together as one. And know that all the different bloodlines, ley lines, song lines, that we've moved through, that has brought us into this moment, and all the wisdom gained from that, is in the cosmic codex of our crystalline chromosomes and true earth architecture. And our seed sound, the very expression of our being, is the code, is the codex, is the codon, is the key, is the door, is the home, is the continents, is the body of Gaia. All connected and interconnected as one. And as you ever so gently bring your awareness back to your heart, in the center of all centers within your heart, and this soul sound, soul essence, true expression of your being, just become aware of how this essence, ever so gently, start moving through your ribs, your spine, your shoulders, your hips, your arms, your legs, your head, all as one body, in the knowing that all the different codes since the moment the cosmos was created is within you, in the cosmic codex of your being, as the cosmic heart is open and fully connected and interwoven through the heart of Gaia Sophia and the hearts of all of humanity, all animals, all plants, all minerals, and all crystals, and all elements in their crystalline essence and expression, all connected as one, weaving and breathing our true earth architecture into being in support for the awakening, ascension, embodiment of the collective consciousness of humanity. And as you move your awareness back to your heart, simultaneously bring your awareness to the center of each one of your 74 trillion cells. Each cell, see yourself standing in the center of each one of your cells. Your crystalline essence is there too, connected to your crystalline heart. And notice how your awareness is simultaneously in the essence of your heart and in the heart of each one of your 74 trillion cells. The cells in your bones, the cells in your organs, all your systems, all your processes, all an expression of your self-soul-source synthesis as one. Move your awareness from your heart and the heart of each one of your 74 trillion cells and stabilize your awareness here as you continue to strengthen your connection to your true earth architecture, your cosmic codex, and that of Gaia, all effortlessly, organically, harmonizing, synthesizing as one cosmic architecture. The very water of your beings connect to the water of Gaia's bodies, connect to the cosmic waters. The very breath of your being, the very spirit of your nature, weaving and breathing the light of your essence, of your soul, through all of your bodies of being, through all of Gaia, through all galaxies and universes as one cosmology. Your very life-giving energy, your very soul's expression, your very true nature, gracefully, lovingly, fluidly within the body of your being. Awareness again to the 74 trillion cells and all the spaces around it, and know that the whole cosmos and the whole cosmology of your being and the cosmic codex of your true nature and true earth architecture is harmonizing, synthesizing, and synchronizing, letting go of that which no longer serves as you step into that which you came here to be of service to, as all of us are supporting Gaia as the benevolent steward that she is in the collective ascension of humanity through love, through sovereignty, through innocence, through purity, and through our original codes. And as you bring your awareness back to your heart, you can ever so gently open your eyes and just touch into the space before you, behind you, beside you, below you, above you, as you acclimate to your presence in the space where you are, in the community where you are, the continent where you are, and all of us together, individually and collectively as a whole. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love.
Thank you, Surette. Thank you for this journey. And thank you for weaving the threads together from what began back in September equinox through December solstice, March equinox to this now time. Perhaps we can invite Jacob to share his code now to support integration. Jacob, is there anything that you would like to communicate about your contribution of your creation?
I had to come out of sharing to find the Zoom. I can share it again though. Um, so what came through for me, I actually originally wanted to do this on white paper, and it just didn't seem to happen. So even though I love black paper and I think it magnifies everything, and yeah, I felt that it works on a cellular level. Um, it assists DNA, plasma flow, and it's around, I got restructure, but also restoration. Um, And I think a day or two later, the word embryo came in, which I found really interesting. I'm not really sure why. Yeah.
Thank you so much. An embryo at Easter time couldn't be more pertinent, perhaps, as the new is beginning to emerge. And during this intense month, perhaps astrologically, the month of April is the most intense month we will journey through in this entire year. And it's interesting, as maybe 7 hours before our meeting today, there was an earthquake between Indonesia and Philippines, quite a big one. And I feel just to reach out at this time of any questions or contributions to the field that maybe Rayleigh might have some, because I know she's recently returned from an equinox walk through Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which has been very significant for her personal and the planetary journey.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, there's been so much amazing information shared today. Thank you so much. I've just have a few threads to weave into what's been spoken to here. I'll keep it succinct because there has been a lot to digest during this gathering. The anchoring at Angkor Wat has been quite profound, with switching on a lot of the techno-spiritual devices, not through specific geographical locations, but through meta keys and codes held within our DNA sequencing and our mitochondrial, our mother code on DNA. So that's been quite profound. There's been an ultra-dimensional metagalactic core alignment through to the core center of our Earth. And that has dismantled a lot of the astral bleed-throughs in a very profound collapse. That's having a very strong impact on our fields and forms relating to timeline shifting, things that do no longer exist within our realities. It's can be experienced as a complete assemblage point realignment. So there's a delivering of the True Earth biotemplates through all organic design temple complex systems globally now, and that includes pyramidal ziggurats, all types of structures that have operated as devices that coalesce and interface with us through our innate technologies and architecture. So this is really awakening now, and it's a combining of stellar and earth DNA codes in the right combining in the right alchemy within us all that is allowing this to occur now, which has not happened for many, many, many millennia. So it's also reconfiguring our elemental and molecular structuring throughout all kingdom collectives. And in particular, the fascia has created more space within our personal and planetary circuitry systems, relating to temples as creatrix templating hubs of true and organic space-time continuum fields. So it's creating more space within the space-time continuum, which is phenomenal, really. So the fascia is also integrating tectonic plates as gravitational motion stabilizers, as tectonic plates fundamentally act as recycling systems, subatomic zones, almost like a conveyor belt forcing older, denser plates and templates down into the mantle, into the metacore of our planet to be recycled, which keeps everything vital and the total surface area of Earth in a constant state of fluidity, constant state of perpetual motion, or what I call suspended animation. So the Earth is the only planet known to currently have active connective plate tectonics that recycle surface matter within a multitude of dimensional states of being. So we're the only planet that does this out of all the planetary bodies, which is quite profound. So I've also had a lot of information coming through with the mandible, with TMJ sessions, and that the whole mandible is opening up the superhighways of our fascia to become more flexible. And I'm shown how this whole crystalline structure here is one of the first to open up with the crystalline skull technology in us. The what I call going live at the Crystal Palace, and the it also ties in with the 13 crystal skulls around our planet that are holding anchoring. It's almost like the scepters are being handed over to humanity now from the 13 crystal skulls, which is so beautiful. During a TMJ session, I saw a whole golden crystalline rose open up over my entire skull. And so this is available to us now. I'd also like to speak to Sirius being the higher self of our galaxy, and that Venus is the higher self of Gaia Galactica. And during my time in Angkor, I was taken in to the spiritual dimensions of our Earth, into Shambhala, and there I met with the Venusian High Council. And these high councils are speaking to the ruby heart generator, which is a Venusian heart coherence in fluidity with the mind gates of Gaia Galactica, and that this is part of the crystalline golden rose held within the innermost sanctum of this heart chamber. So I'd also like to say that the ruby heart generator is Uluru, and so Uluru is the nodal access point on the surface of the ruby heart generator, and it is a heart to hara unification as a creatrix pattern through the amniotic fluid of the mother. And this is the source code of our CSF, our cerebral spinal fluid, and the golden blood plasma, which is in free flow now. It's recently switched on to the originator gates and the primordial harmonic blueprinting systems. So this is in full quantum coherence now, fractally. So as we know, Nalgawadi is the solar umbilical cord of the mother sun at Uluru, and is the cosmic feminine principle. The sun is feminine in Indigenous Aboriginal culture. So this feminine principle is being anchored and alchemized in through the southern hemisphere as the great solar womb gate. I'd also like to just share that during the Venus transit in 2004, I was asked to go activate a quintessence that took 4 years to co-create from 12 sacred mountains, high points around, anchor points around our planet. So that was done during the Venus transit in 2004. So Uluru is opening up another layer of that Venus transit and the cycle of the rose, the points, the nodal points that Venus takes as a rose configuration. Something is happening at Uluru with that now, and that's a solar plexus mind connection brought into ultra-dimensional coherence through this golden christic rose that is anchoring deep into the metacore of our mother's body within the core center column or staff and rod technology of our mother. I would like to speak to Dubai. So Dubai's means locus, and it also means God's promise of recovery and restoration, because the locust was said to steal time. That which the locust has stolen, cyclic time. So we are getting back our connection in with cosmic cycles again, in coherence and coalescing with our innate cycles, our ability to not just move through the cosmic cycles, but be within the creatrix patterns of these cycles and influence these cycles. So I keep seeing the tree-shaped palm of Jumeirah, meaning beautiful or paradise. It also means shimmering white moon or sand, and it is a primordial island of light, this palm island in Dubai. It's one of the primordial islands of light. There's another in Bali, and it's also a sky tree, and there's another sky tree. They're all over the planet, but these are part of primordial fractality. And the sky tree is a global myth, often represents the axis mundi, or the central pillar connecting the heavens to earth, to the earthly realm and the underworld. So it's a triuning now that's been able to open up like never before through the tectonic plate systems, realigning the 3 as 1 principle throughout universal, cosmic, galactic, planetary and underworld realities. So that's all coming into an alignment like never before. So these trees symbolize life and creation and the connection between nature and the divine, in which all beings hold counsel universally. So there's been a lot of councils meeting. Dubai and the name of this Palm Island for me pertains to the true to life fertility codes of the lunar mansions, and that these are fertilizing the cosmic seeding and the lunar ovum cycles coming back into existence. So plasmatic essence of star mapping through the 13 sequences of time within cosmic fluidity. And this is held within the mother's milk, the cosmic cow, now reconnecting through Andromeda Galaxy, which has not occurred for many, many epochs of time. So all mammals are the first to experience this, along with milk sap trees and milky crystals. So, Jacob, your offering that you shared today represents the 13 cycles of time within no time, because there's 13 and then the cycle begins another 13, all connecting through. And it looks to me like it's holding the true to life fertility codes of these lunar mansions that have been heavily hijacked for so long, and we're getting the true lunar connection restored and returning to us, so that we can, no matter what what form we are in, that we can anchor and alchemize the true to life lunar codes in coherence with the solar codes. So all very exciting. I'm still integrating Angkor Wat, so I won't speak to that just yet. But it was very profound, and yeah, I'm just very grateful to be here sharing today. And as we enter into April, which is going to, as if we don't think every month is catapulting us into new realms of state and states of being. This one is really ramping up now like never before. So yeah, I wish everybody well during this season that we're entering into. Yeah, much love.
Thank you very much, Raylene, for your rich contribution to today and life contribution to this evolutionary process that we're all parts of. Wow. I am feeling it's time to bring closure to our marathon on this Easter birthing portal. And it's a time of year when there's much busyness. It is springtime in the Northern Hemisphere, yet I've definitely been spring cleaning Planetary larily from the Southern Hemisphere, evicting galactic squatters that have been here way too long. But it's all coming to a point now so that the new may be birthed. And it feels like an important time actually to come into stillness, to come deep inside, into the body, into the planetary body, and stay close and keep listening, because something new will emerge very naturally and organically from this place. And that deep centered connection to self, sovereignty, source through our bodies and the planetary body is vital at this time more than ever. Being in that is far more of a contribution than doing anything outside of that at this time.
That is the key takeaway of it all. Really, the God force is anchoring through us now, and we are here, and we are showing up, and we are holding this now. And it doesn't matter where you find yourself, in what dimension, in what realm, in what state of consciousness, holding that as true, as the truth, and in everything that we are vibrating with is absolute key now.
So thank you, Raylene. Thank you, everybody, for your participation, for your contributions today, and for your continued service. We have one final set of fractals from Stephanie Elaine as we come to closure today. Thank you, Stephanie Elaine, for your very beautiful and ever-evolving OMNIQuantum fractals. And it's time to say goodnight, everyone, from Aotearoa. A reminder to everybody who will join us on the replay that everyone you've met here today are practitioners and facilitators in their own right. So please do reach out to anyone you resonate with for support at this time. Aroha nui from Aotearoa. Until next we meet on New Moon. Much love, everyone.